Alright, so we are animating this logo for Deadbeats, and I want the letters to just melt off screen and maybe have these melt up, but have some fun with it. I'm just going to play it by ear. I don't have any sketches, so I'm just going to go straight in with the liner and hope for the best. And if you have any questions, let me know. Let me get the chat up. All right. Make sure we're on the right layer. That's what we want. Let's do a little drop coming off the T. Make it gooey. Right, it's not like it needs more movement. See what that looks like. .12 frames per second. Okay. So I'll kind of keep the shape a little bit if I can before it turns into a full mess. Make sure we keep adding this drip here. I'm using Procreate, and this is just the animation assist tool inside that app. I have Procreate Dreams, but I just keep going back to the animation assist in Procreate because it's frame by frame, and I just think it's a lot cooler. Frame by frame animation for the win. A little drip there. see. Yeah, it's looking good. This is pretty much how I do all my animations. If it's a character or a scene, obviously I do some sketches beforehand. But with this, because it's just letters melting, it doesn't really require a sketch because I'm just turning it into a complete mess. Now maybe if I did do a sketch, it would probably look a little bit better. But hey, it's nice just to go with the flow and just let it come out. I'll show you, actually, show you what my sketches normally look like. So this is an animation piece, and this will be a packet of trading cards being ripped open and then pulled apart to reveal some trading cards. So this is the sketch I did for it. So normally I would do a pencil sketch and then I would go over it in the ink liner or the technical brush and make sure everything's perfect so it all flows together. But I'm skipping that stage because this is just for a banner. It's for a little headliner. It's going to be a little GIF, so it doesn't really have to be perfect. And it's also a lot more fun to just jump straight in and start animating. I'm starting to lose this S a little bit as well. Alright, let's see what that looks like. 12 frames, yep. Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, it's looking pretty cool. Okay, let's keep going. So that's 5 frames so far. I want to start turning off some of these because it's starting to become a little bit difficult to differentiate the lines. Alright, we should start having some fun, like maybe leave some droplets that hang on and then slowly roll down after it. Okay. Also, this is just like an impromptu stream, by the way. I just want to get more into streaming my process and streaming in general because I think it's really important to show some of this, and important to me anyway, because I think there's a lot of gatekeeping around art and it's not necessary. So I think the best way to learn is just to watch someone do it. The best way, learn not how to do it. Learn from my mistakes. Because I am not a trained animator. I have just taught myself. Alright. Does that work? Yeah, I like that little drop off the S. Looks cool. Let's keep going. If anyone's watching, if you want to drop a comment, if you have any questions. All right. All right. They're not even resembling letters anymore. I want to try and keep that. So, all right, see what that looks like. Yeah, that works. What I'd like to do is actually put a little bit here, and then I have to pull away in the next one. So that just becomes a little droplet. And all right, this is pretty fast. Maybe we'll turn. If I seem very indecisive with actions, it's because I'm just playing this by ear. I don't really have a plan. Yeah, I think that make a break off. Okay. I love seeing these little extra droplets hang on in animation. Like that kind of, that's a little bit of character. Oh, God. Okay. Okay. I'm just gonna make this little bit a little straggler that hangs on. Now, let's see what it looks like. Okay. What are we thinking? You see, I love that little bit of the S that hangs around at the end there. Cool. Okay. I'm going to add an extra frame here. 2 extra frames so we can see it a bit clearer. Okay, I don't know if that is showing on the stream, but that looks pretty cool. So move on to the did. Now, I don't know if I want the dead to drip over the beats as well, or if I want it to actually maybe drip upwards. That could be interesting. But it's also a GIF, so I want it to kind of return to its complete form as well and look seamless. So I need to figure this out. Maybe I could have the dead beats both dripping down off screen, and as soon as they come off screen, they reappear dripping from the top. That could be an easy way to do a seamless GIF. So let's do that. All right. Let's destroy this D. Boy, that's. Oh my god, it's almost midnight here in Dublin. My Friday nights used to be a lot different to this. Still relatively keeping the shape of the letter. Man, I love Procreate, but for animation. It's not the most slick software. Like, it'd be so much easier. I think like all of this would probably take like 5 minutes inside Blender or something. But there's a charm to hand-drawn animation. That I just think is becoming a bit of a lost practice. Everything's so easily done in computers now. As I hand draw on a computer. So putting some drips. Okay. I don't know if that's translating on the stream because it's quite fast, and I don't know if it's lagging on the screen, but it is looking really cool. Okay. Okay. Let's continue this strip here. Put a new one here and continue this. This is also streaming on my brand new YouTube channel as well. So if you want to join that, just search for Trev Alves on YouTube and you will find it. My plan is to really start using YouTube a lot more to stream and to basically, house my animations there as well. So there's like an easy place for people to go and see them all. Okay. It's not looking too bad. Okay. As you can see, you can probably see all the lines. It becomes a bit difficult to see what you're exactly doing. So let me get rid of some of them. This is cool. I mean, I have no training in animation. If you've seen some of my work, how I got into it was I was creating illustrations, and in order to try and get my work seen on Twitter, I would make these little promos to try and, stand out, because obviously everyone's trying to get their work seen and get eyeballs on it. And I started to mess around with the animation feature here on this Procreate to do little promos, and man, I just really got a kick out of seeing my art come to life. Like it was like it just felt visceral to see it all just move, and I was bitten by the bug, and I was like, okay, let's see how far I can push this. Like, can I make animations that I would mint and put on chain and feel proud of? And I've just been obsessed with it ever since. And I love it, and it's definitely something that I will not stop doing. I think confidently can say I'll be animating now for the rest of my career. All right. Hey H, how are you doing? Just seeing your chat there. Hope you're well, buddy. All right, where are we? All right. There we are. Okay. Now it's getting confusing here. Okay. So let me start adding more drips in. I'll bring this D down a little bit more. I should bring this arch down because it's going. So be very careful. I don't want the D to catch up with the B, or it'll start to clutter and look a bit messy. But again, I don't have this planned out. I don't have sketches or anything, so I'm just going straight in, and I don't recommend you animate like this. It's always preferable to have a plan, but because it's just melty, I'm just going to have fun with it. I don't like that. Try that again. Pull this drip down. That's too similar. Sometimes I space out and I just trace the previous line. I was like, well, that doesn't make sense. Now let's add some drips here. All right, let's see how this is. Oh, that's pretty cool. I like that. I don't know if that's translating on the stream. All right, so let's go back to it. This is not resembling a letter whatsoever. Now what I want to do actually is I'm going to break away some of this, start adding a bit more character to it. I don't know, and I'm not in any way a professional animator, but I think what makes good animation is character. I think anyone can animate something going from left to right, but even if it's just letters, I think it's always cool to just try and put a little bit of quirkiness or character into it, and it can just completely transform it. Alright, so that's broken. Oh, we're getting there. We're getting there, guys. And then I have to color it all. That should be important. Alright, so this D is just a big blob here, so let me try and break it up again and make it look a little bit more interesting. So I'm going to trace this line and separate it so it's a little bit that's broken off. We want to bring this down. And then we'll have this chasing the S. Okay, and now we're cooking. Okay, so let's bring this little breakaway piece down. So have this drip in between the other two letters. Sure. Yeah. Okay, this E is completely destroyed, so no. Yeah, it's just like a big blob here, so I don't just want to keep animating this down because I think that would look boring, so I maybe break this piece off it. Maybe like try it like, yeah, there we go. I'm just completely going off the rails with this. Alright. Let's have this little yeah. I'm gonna play that back, see what it looks like. Alright, it's not too bad. I hope you guys can see this. Alright. Okay. Alright. Now, this little blob's getting thinner. This is coming down. Oof. We're getting somewhere. Does that work? No, just... yeah, it's okay. Alright. This little guy is dripping. Again, I'm not used to live streaming, so if I'm not talking enough, I apologize, and if I'm talking too much, I apologize, and if I'm talking shy, I apologize. But yeah, do let me know if you're genuinely into this kind of thing and you want to see me stream a bit more. Let me know. Like, do you want me to talk more technically about stuff, or tell you some stories? That's so much fun. It's the thing about animating, it's so frustrating. It's also so rewarding as well, especially when you pull off something that you didn't think was possible. It's very addictive. It's like getting tattoos. It's real addictive. I should know. Alright. Okay. We're nearly there. We're nearly there. All the beats is already disappeared, so it's only the dead that is dripping now. So the canvas has opened up a little bit more, so we can really start to play with it. Alright. I actually want to break a little bit here off at the bottom. Go like this. Okay. This guy is still dripping over here. So you're probably wondering what this is actually. So I haven't actually told anyone. This is the name of some digital trading cards I'm going to be doing, called obviously Deadbeats. And yeah, they're going to be digital trading cards characters. I have to be honest, my character design is really rusty, because if you look at a lot of my work, it doesn't really have a lot of characters in it, and I haven't really been drawing characters consistently for nearly 2 years, so I've gotten really rusty. So part of having a trading card collection is to be able to get back into getting used to drawing characters, developing characters, and whatnot. So it's always a cool way of doing it when you have a cool project that helps you upskill a little bit better, a little bit easier. So yeah, I'm really excited to be doing some character design, because I've been focusing a lot more on backgrounds. And if you see my work, it's mainly environments, and which is cool. It's a whole style in itself. I mean, think about professional animation. It's there's a whole discipline of just doing backgrounds. I think there's something really, I'm going to break this up here. I think there's something really cool about a very cool scene that doesn't have people in it, and you just rely on the objects to tell the story. Alright, what am I doing here? Alright, so this breaks off. I'm going to turn this into like an N, lowercase n. Bring it down a bit more. Alright. And we still have this guy here. So, there. Just try and keep the loose shape, and then, yeah. You don't want this to encroach on this little bit here. Okay. Let me see what that looks like next to its previous frame. Ah, yeah. Okay. It's not too bad. Just the last 3 frames. Okay, let's keep going. Okay. All right, so yeah. All right. All right. So the last bits of droplets. No, let's start that again. All right, and I think I'll break this up again. Just create this little island, and you there. Oh, and I'm going to break this little arch here so it doesn't get in the way of this little bit here. All right. Okay. Now, this is like how laborious frame by frame animation is. Sometimes it's just pretty much drawn and drawn and drawn, and I mean, there's no secret to it, really, is there? There's no magic formula. You just gotta just keep drawing until it looks smooth and decent. All right. Let me draw this again. So put you down here. This is a super small canvas, if you're wondering, because it's for a letter. It's for like a header. So it is very small. So that's why it looks a bit pixelated. Now, I hope this looks good. I think I might be overcooking this here, but we'll find out in a minute. Right. So let's bring this home. What? Maybe. There we go. A little hint of that. That's gone. That's. Oh, look at that. Look what we're left with now. These little stragglers. That was just gone. Just a hint of that. All right, don't need to put that one in. Just that one. That one. All right, okay. We are done. Let's have a look. We might have to add frames. We might have to take some out. Let's see. Okay, let's play this. Okay, so it starts off and it slows a little bit. All right, because it's a little bit pacier at the beginning. And yeah, okay. Okay. I think it's okay. Now, what I need to do now, in order to make this like a seamless loop, I think I'm going to have the letters drip in from the top now. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to do it backwards. So I'll start again with the solid letters and I'll have them dripping upwards. So it's easier for me to do that as opposed to have them come down and try and form the letters. It's better to start with the letters and break the letters down into the drips. And then I just reverse all the frames so it looks like it's coming down. It will make a lot more sense when you see it. So, okay, let's look at this. All right, there we go. And then I want to put some blank frames here. So 1, 2, 3. All right, so we have that buffer of just empty canvas. All right, perfect. Now what I want to do is I just want to copy the letters and I want to put them. Paste. There we go. Now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this deadbeats and we're going to animate it going up. We're going to have it dripping up, zero gravity style. And then we're going to flip all the frames around and then it's going to drip down. And then that will continue down and then it will just be a full cycle and then we're done. Okay. Let's go. Alright, so doing this backwards. So we're going up this time. So, yeah. And you kind of have to be mindful of the amount of frames you're using, because when I played this back, it's quite punchy and fast at the beginning, and then it slows down, and that is a terrible attempt. It slows down because I added too many frames, because I was getting into putting all those little drips in, and it kind of slowed it down. So what I'd normally do is, when I'm finished all this and I have it complete, I go back through it and I start to remove frames, or I start to redraw certain frames to make it a little bit smoother. All right. You know, it could be a good idea, actually. I'll just flip the screen upside down, because it feels trippy trying to drip it upwards. So I'm just going to rotate the canvas around so the letters appear upside down now. But don't worry, I'm not going insane. Yeah, this actually, yeah, this feels a lot better. No. But I have to remember that if I'm going to put drips in, they have to be above it. I'm sure there's people like watching this going, my God, I could like do that in 5 minutes in Blender or something. But this is fun. B. Alright. Let's put some drips in this. It's a lot more entertaining to watch when I'm animating a character or an object. So this S is a bit of a nightmare to try and hold its shape as it's melting. Okay. Now let me flip it around. I'm going to try to go back to this angle. I'm trying to keep in mind that I will be reversing this, so I'm thinking, if I add a drip here, will that drip look weird? Will it be backwards when I reverse all the frames? I'm like, I probably should have just done it the right way around, but nah, it's all experimentation. That's what's fun about animation. Alright. Well, that's way too much. Alright. We are getting there. Yeah, that E is not looking correct. Man, I'm a real sucker for like really cool typography. I love that retro style. You get all like grindhouse cinema and old comic books. Can't be good type. That's one of my pet hates when I see illustrators just using like actual fonts typed into their work. It's like, nah, man, draw your letters. So much cooler, so much more distinct. Sorry if I'm rambling. I'm just trying to fill some dead air. Does that work? Alright. Alright, let's see this. So, ba ba ba. Yeah, I think I think this is working. Okay. Yeah, I've switched back to viewing it normal because that was tripping me out doing it upside down. Alright, so if that's going to be there, this would be less of a drip because it's a preceding frame. Okay. You know, if you're a fan of animation, I've been checking out this guy called Joe Kappa, and he has this. He has a YouTube channel. Go check him out. And he has this series of short animations called "Ha Ha You Clowns," and Adult Swim have just picked it up for a show. And if you're into like absurdist or underground animation, I recommend you go check it out because it's fucking awesome. I think it's genius. There's something very unsettling about Joe Kappa's work, and yeah, it's going to be an Adult Swim show, so I would check out the shorts on his YouTube channel if you have time. Guy is a genius. His work is so uncomfortable. He definitely knows how to get under your skin. And what am I doing? Alright, let me try this one more time. But yeah, Aha You Clowns is super funny. It's very cringe. It's awkward. It's just genius. It's just so cool to see animation being democratized, you know? Because when I was a kid, you know, obviously I was being drawn all my life, and when I was a kid, I wanted to be an animator. I wanted to make cartoons, you know, but unfortunately, I was born in the 80s, and the only way to make animations was if you had thousands and thousands of euros and really specialist equipment. It was just, obviously, it was all hand drawn. So I quickly moved on to comic books and wanted to be an illustrator. But I think it's awesome now that because of technology and because of Procreate and Blender and all this software, that we're getting this renaissance of animation where we're seeing these super creative people create these brilliant animations that otherwise wouldn't exist. And I mean, there's a whole culture of animation on the internet now. It's just wild. That's what I kind of love about, technology and even AI to a point. I know people like to give out about AI, but when you have all these tools that can kind of democratize it all and it puts creativity into the hands of anyone. I mean, you might have an awesome killer idea for a project or an animation or I don't know, something, but you're just not skilled in the draftsmanship to be able to do it, or and that's where I think, or you just don't have the money, and that's where I think this kind of democratization through these softwares is pretty cool, that anyone can be creative now, anyone can bring their idea to life, and it's really awesome to see because we should be making art. We're humans. We weren't put on earth to pay taxes or to work. We were put here to make art, make love, and eat good food. Alright. I'm doing less drips with this one because I'm a bit freaked out about having to reverse it and it not looking good, so I'm just being a little bit more conservative. I can go back in and add some drips later. This tea, how about just creeping around here? Right. I'm gonna put a drip here. Wait, now if I put that there, the next frame would be this. So, oh, that's a bad idea. That would look weird. It would appear out of nowhere. All right. Let me see this. Boom. Yeah, it's working. All right. Jeez, we're almost there. That's too close. See, what I think I did when I began drawing these frames, I was making the gaps between each frame, the gap between the previous drawn and the next one, I was making it a little bit bigger, and then I started to get a little bit tighter, and that's why the animation started to slow down. So I definitely have to be mindful of that. We'll have to go. No, that's just. Let me pull this here and then. Yeah, so yeah, that looks better. Now, where is the beats? Okay, so I'm going to elongate this. Hopefully that will look good when it's... Man, that bee looks pretty jacked up. Let's sneak the A through here. Ooh. Do the same here, kind of. It's like drawing a map now at this stage. Yeah, I don't even have to resemble a letter anymore now. This will do. Okay. All right. Let me see that. Okay, I don't like that S. That it's too much of a jump. So let me try and keep the similar shape a little bit. Yeah, close enough. Right. Okay, we're getting there. We are getting there. Okay, I really don't like the shape of this B, so I'm going to try and smash it up here and that would be up here. That would be up here. Let's see if that works. Okay. I think it's okay. If you're watching this as well, I hope you're getting something out of it. Not just me babbling. Alright. Alright, this is completely lost its shape. I'm trying to be mindful of the actual volume of the shape as well, so we don't want it to get too thin or too big, or it's just going to look a bit jumpy when it's animated. That's the technical term, jumpy. Alright, we're nearly off screen here, so let's this here, get rid of these letters. These are slowly disappearing. Alright, so I'm going to stretch this B out. I want to try to do something interesting with this B because it just looks like a blob, but I don't think it's going to look that great when we play the animation, so I'll just keep throwing random shapes around it. Let me do this. Try and all right. Okay, you all still with me? It's really cool to live stream. I didn't think I'd like it because, you know, I hate spaces on Twitter. Don't like talking in them, but this is fun. This is a better way to connect with people, I think. Don't know what it is about spaces. I think it's because you can't see people's faces, you know? It's weird. Okay. All right. Okay, I hope this turns out good. I hope I didn't waste your time. All right. We'll just put the tail of that coming through. The end of that. That. And that. All right, now that's going off screen. There we go. There's B. We'll chase it up here. Okay. Now I've been going off the plot with this B. This is going to keep an eye out for this guy right here because it's gonna look really wild. I think I'm gonna have to reanimate that. Okay. We're getting there. So let's pull this back here. No. Okay. Okay. Wow. Look at this. Pretty much finished now. Okay. Okay. Let's turn on all the layers and see what we're dealing with. So this is going to look a bit crazy because it's not in order. There we go. So melts down, melts up, melts down, melts up. You know what? It's not too bad. All right, now what we need to do is flip around all of those frames so that it goes in the opposite order. So, okay, so, all right. Okay. I should have named all of these frames as I was going, but again, could have, would have, should have. So 21, 20. All right, so we want to go 21 to 31. So put you up here. Like, let me see. Let me play this again. Okay. And I want to add some empty frames here. Let me play this again one more time. Okay. Now I need to swap all these frames around and not mess it up in the process. So I want, so 33 all the way down here. 32. If anyone knows a quicker way to reverse frames on YouTube, on Procreate, let me know. Because if I want to swap frames around, I literally just drag them in the menu bar here and just swap them around. And there has to be a quicker way. All right, 37, 96, 25, 34, 93, 22, 21. All right. So let's see what this looks like. Ah, there you go. we need to add in some more frames. This. Alright, so that does not belong there, so we have a frame out of place. There we go. Let's belong up here. These are all in order. They all come into frame. And we have this one frame that's, look at that. Okay, there's one frame that's just not playing ball with me. 25, 26 belongs down here. Okay. There we go. Let me just, I want to duplicate this and this, so okay. Now, there we are. Now, it's a little bit, alright, there's too many frames now. It's hanging on for too long. It's a little bit slow. It's, you know, I'm not... Okay, now there's not enough frames there. Okay. No, it needs... it's a little bit slow. I'm not going to lie. I think I need to cut some frames out. Bang. And I also, like, I have to add in, like, obviously you could see, if I pause it here, when you see the actual letters come together and form the word deadbeats, obviously it has this heavy drop shadow, and I need to add that all into each of these frames. But I'm gonna do that. Like, that's I can do that very easily. Right now I'm just concerned with the flow of it, and I don't really like the flow. I think there's far too many frames. I think it's, yeah, I think I got a little bit overindulgent. Like, you can, I don't know if it comes across in the stream, because as I play this on my iPad, there might be a little bit of a lag, but yeah, it's not. Yeah, I need to. Now, where do we chop out a frame? All right, along this part here. Yeah, see, these are too close together, you know? Where some of them, yeah, okay. All right. Frame A, you are gone. Yeah. I think I need to take one out at the... I got way too into adding all of these little drips that hang on as it drips off, as it comes off screen, these little... Yeah, I got way too much into them, and it's slowing the whole flow of the movement down. So I need to get rid of some of them. Bam, 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 bam. Okay, here we are. 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, 15. 16. Definitely that. Alright, let's try. 16 is gone. Alright, it's getting better. Alright. I'm liking this. I don't know, I could still cut out. Watch, if I speed it up, and I don't even know if you're going to be able to see this. I suppose I could actually just... like, now that I'm thinking about it, it is just an isolated animation. So I could, it's just going to be a GIF, so I could set the frame rate to anything. I usually set it to 12 because, you know, it easily doubles up to 24, which is 24 frames a second is what your camera shoots at. So yeah, I could suppose if I'm just creating this in isolation as a GIF, I suppose it doesn't really matter if I up the frame rate. So if I put the frame rate up higher, it means the animation moves faster. I'm just checking it out now. Maybe it's going too fast. Let me try. I just don't like messing around with frames. Like, it's good practice to stick, you know, to a standard frame rate. And anyone that's like properly trained in animation would, you know, probably screaming at their phone right now. But I think that's the sweet spot. I think that looks good now. I don't know if that's translating through the stream, but I am happy with that. Now, what I want to do now is I want to add some drop shadows, because as you see here, when the letters all come together, they have this real heavy shadow underneath it. And obviously then when it plays, that shadow disappears, and I want to keep that because I think it's too much, like it's too, you know, it's just a blob that turns into letters with heavy shadows. So I want to slowly introduce those drop shadows into it as it's forming and then melting away again. And that's pretty easy. I mean, the simplest way to do that is I'm going to turn off Animation Assist and just go regular Procreate, and I take the layer and I duplicate it, and I'm going to just shift it slightly like that, and then I'm going to go in and just get rid of all of this here. And let me just show you very quickly. And I'm just going to merge these two down into one layer after I fill. You probably have an idea what I'm going to do now that you're looking at this, but I'm going to show you anyway. Yo, and again, feel free to say hi in the chat, if nothing else, so I know it's working. Because for all I know, I am streaming to absolutely nobody but myself. And now, so I just turned the opacity down on that layer, so I merged them down together, and I just filled it. That's the. Let me just, and then again, it's just filling. Let me turn this up. Now, this is one way to do it. This is just me being very clean with it, because I want the drop shadows to match each of the shapes as they're dripping down. So but this is only for a GIF, so it doesn't have to be that clean, you know. All I have to do is just add a heavy shadow on each layer now, and that's usually how I work. Whether it be this or any other animation, I always start with getting the lines in first, and then I come back and add the shadows, the heavy shadows, and then I come back to each frame, and then I'll add the colors, and then the highlights, and then I just keep making it it pass as I go. I've kind of figured out my own workflow that works best for me when it comes to frame by frame. Now, look at that already. It's starting to look cool, isn't it? Like, it's once you add that drop shadow. Now, yes. So let me see that compared to the. Oh. So it's no longer just these lines now. It's no longer like it's got a bit of weight to it now. And yes, looks cool. Now, if I try to play that, you're probably not going to get the full effect of it, but you might see one of the frames has it. Now, the bad news is I have to do that for all of these frames. And the other way I can do it, the first way I showed you, was duplicating the layer, tilting it slightly to the right, and just erasing what's inside the letter, and then merging them down and coloring them. That's a real. I would do it that way if it's an animation I'm making that's like going to be minted, or I'm going to sell as an edition, or I'm like making a proper animation. I would do it that way. But because this is for a banner, it's for a GIF that's going to be at the banner at the top of a social page. I don't really need to do that. I could just as easily come in and just do this and just do it manually. Just draw it all in. Like, and we'll see what this looks like. Hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, let me know and I'll explain it better. Yeah, look at this. Yeah, so now we're adding weight to it. Dead beats. Man, I'm so excited to draw these cards. Let's fill these in. I love drop shadows. I learned how to do a main drop shadow right in graffiti. If you can't do a drop shadow, your graffiti is going to look terrible. Now, okay, so, alright, these are a bit fatter, so I'm going to have to thicken them up. But then again, I mean, it doesn't have to be consistent because it's pretty much supposed to be slimy and melting, so I guess I could, yeah, they don't have to be too crazy. Okay. Or consistent. Alright. Next one. Suppose I should probably turn animation assist back on for this. Alright. We're going to fatten up my brush a little bit, make it a little bit bigger. I'm going to do this a little bit faster. Alright. That was a lazy one. Let me fix that. Okay. Oh, I've got that Tales from the Crypt vibe off this lettering. Okay. Okay. And now, right about now, I'm going to start thinking about colour. I don't know if I'll colour this just yet, but That's pretty easy then. I can just bucket fill all of the shapes and letters. So color is not that big of a deal. Yeah. We're getting through this, guys. We're flying through this. So what else would I be doing on a Friday night? Definitely helps to be antisocial and have no life if you want to animate. Alright. Ooh, so it's like so you gotta get the idea what I'm doing here, and that's what I normally do. I just keep doing multiple passes on the frames, each time adding something to it, as opposed to just trying to get it all there in the first pass. You know, it's better to chip away at it. All right, let me see if that's working. Yeah. The great thing about these kind of letters and this kind of animation is it's kind of, you can't really go wrong, you know, because it's supposed to be melty, that even if the drop shadow is in the slightly wrong position, or it kind of still works, you know, because it's goo. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty much how I do all my animations. Before Dreams, I use Procreate Dreams as well, and that's kind of really helped the process because I can do some simple keyframing. But other than that, this is how I completely animate. If you've seen my Game Boy animation, AA Powered Invasion, where it's the hands playing the Game Boy, that was completely done in this animation system Procreate, and that was a nightmare because I have so many different animations going at once. Like, I had to slowly build it up, so I animated. I'll probably show you if I have time. I animated every single element separately and then had to bring them all together, and it was a nightmare. But it was very satisfying. It was very cool to see the finished product, and, you know, with all its flaws, because, man, you just can't beat hand animation. It's like illustration in general. Like, my advice to anyone who is young in the game of illustrating is to put the computer or the iPad away and use a sketchbook and use your hand as much as possible. Because as good as technology is, and as good as it's democratizing all of these things like animation, it also kind of homogenizes a lot of things as well, and everyone's work begins to look the same. And that's because everyone's using the same programs, using the same fonts. So I think it's important to bring your hand into it, and the artist's hand is one of your biggest weapons and tools. Because if you think about it, right, nobody can copy your signature, right? They can try forge it, but our signatures are unique to us as individuals, as people. So it stands to reason that our drawing styles are unique to us as well. And if you do your illustrations by hand, even digitally, if you draw them all by hand as opposed to using snapping tools and using building blocks or shapes, your work is always going to stand out, or at least it will have its own flair to it, or its own feel to it, because nobody will be able to truly copy it. Well, they can copy it, but it won't look the same because your hand is your hand. And a great example of that is Keith Haring, the famous pop artist who, he does the Radiant Baby and all those little doodle drawings. His work is so simple. I mean, it's so simple. It's just basic line work, right? But nobody can copy his style. Like, it's very hard to get, if you see a Keith Haring and then you try and draw a Keith Haring, it doesn't look right, even though his style is so simple. It's because it's a signature. It's his hand movement, and you can't copy his signature exactly the same. And because he has a very strong hand, artist hand, and I'm a big believer that if you want to stand out or be original or try and be original, because none of us are, it's use your hand. Because in the age of technology where everyone is building their illustrations and their designs in programs like Illustrator, Photoshop, but using your hand to draw everything, it's a vibe. Like, even when I'm doing illustrations, if I'm drawing out a scene, I never use the snapping tools. I never, I try, if I have to draw a really long straight line, I'll literally just draw it with the Apple Pen. And you know what? If it wobbles or it goes off, I leave it alone. I let it stay there. Go look at some of my illustrations. Like, you won't find a straight line. You'll see wobbles and you'll see mistakes. Even if I have like two objects, like two buttons that should be the same size right next to each other, they're slightly different to each other because I'm literally just drawing them freehand. And to me, that's more exciting than when you see like an illustrator build up something just using shapes, and kind of kills the organicness of it. That's what I find anyway. I don't know if you agree with me or not, and that's how I feel about animation as well. I want to put as much as my personality as possible into the animations, and by doing it this way, by doing it by hand, is how I try and achieve that. Alright, so I'm starting to just kind of hold back on where I'm putting these drop shadows, because again, the shapes are now getting smaller. Obviously, I have to remember they're always on the right hand side. Okay. I think we will have this finished before the stream is over. Yeah. I love a good heavy drop shadow. You'll notice in a lot of my illustrations that I use a lot of heavy drop shadows, and that just comes from painting graffiti for so long. If you look at a lot of graffiti on the streets, they have big drop shadows, big heavy black outlines, and obviously we do that for a reason. We want it to stand out, we want it to be punchy. And when it comes to illustrating now, when I draw, again, my hand just wants to keep drawing big heavy drop shadows, and it's just because that's just natural to what my hand wants to do. So again, it goes back to your drawing style as being your autograph or your signature. Okay. Look at us go. We are flying through this. It's going to get a lot faster as it just turns into random shapes. Look at those go. Man, it's great to be actually animating and being productive on a Friday. Normally at this time on a Friday night, it is nearly 1 a.m. here in Ireland. I would probably, well, I'd be smoking weed and passed out by now. So, but I've actually quit weed and being a sober Sally and being a teetotaler lately. It's kind of nice. I'm finding more time in the day to do stuff. Really. All right. So let's watch the first half. So we've added the drop shadows to the. There we go. Look at that. It's a lot weightier now. The melty bits look a lot cooler, don't they? I like how even the drop shadows they're kind of like animated themselves now. Yes. Okay. Now we have to add it to the other side. Okay. All right. For the very big one, I'm gonna do what I did for the first one. I'm gonna copy it and I'm gonna pull it over. I'm gonna turn off animation assist. And then I'm just going to scrub out the center. Yeah, if you're ever trying to add shadows to stuff and you're not sure if you can get it right, just copy the layer and then just shift it over a little bit to the left or right, and there you go, instant drop shadow. I just like doing it on the frames that have the letters that are more recognizable, like you can read the word deadbeats. So just to make it a little bit more cleaner, I want to make sure all the drop shadows match. So that's why I'm doing it with this layer. Merge that down. Boom. Now I just have to fill this in. Deadbeats. Oh, it's too big. Let me. All right, been on for over an hour now. And if you're watching this, I really appreciate you hanging out. Say hello, throw something in the chat. I want to hear from you. Don't be shy. Let me just drop this in. Look at that. Mm-hmm. 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 Hmm. You know, I'm still not convinced that I am just not talking, that I'm just talking to myself here. Alright. Okay, let's just freehand this now. Hmm. I'm wondering if I should have done like a Twitter video space, because that way, so I can tell if there's actually people checking it out, or people can come up and interact. Because it would be nice to talk to some people while I do this. All right, got those go. Okay, I'm just gonna flatten out some of these lines. Okay. Oh, I should put animation assist back on. That would make this a little bit easier. Okay. Okay, let me just check. We're all good. Okay. Just move stuff around. Oh. Okay. This is looking almost complete. Yeah, so if you've seen my animations, you know the kind of style, what they're like, and I want to bring some of that animation into some more character-based designs, because I want to start doing more long-form animations, more episodic style animations, which would be really cool, and it will be a big challenge, especially trying to do it frame by frame. But that's where the fun lies, right? If we do it using software and keyframes, it will just look like every other thing on the internet. So we're suffering through this laborious task, so it looks a little bit quirkier and a bit more original. Okay. I don't even know where to put the shadows on this letter now. That's just a blob. But I'm also like, I'm kinking out the ends of some of them so that it kind of wriggles while it's animating. Give it a little extra bit of touch. Yeah, we're going backwards. Yeah, I want to make this a bit more regular streaming. I'm streaming this on YouTube as well. If you want to go over and give my channel a follow, it's just type Trev Elviz into YouTube. I want to start spending a little bit more time streaming. I think it's really cool to kind of show the process, because like I make a lot of process videos, but they're kind of more for promo and entertainment, you know. It's kind of cut together, so you just see little snippets. But sometimes it's cool to show the entire process and to kind of demystify it as well for some people that are only learning as well, because I feel like when you're starting to learn, and I see that a lot with people where they see like an incredible painter and they're like, oh, what brushes are you using? Or, you know, people ask me like, wow, how do you do that? What program are you using? And or what paints are you using? And it's just like, that doesn't really matter. It's there's no real secret brush or paint or software. It's just, sometimes it's just a lot of laborious work. There's no real magic to it. And anyone can do it. But if you're going to animate, you are not going to have a social life anymore. Disclaimer. Ooh. You know what I'm really excited for? The new Terminator anime that is coming on Netflix, Terminator Zero. I'm really excited about that. I'm not the biggest fan. I'm not really into anime. I grew up on Western animation, particularly from the States, and anime wasn't really accessible. I mean, I'd obviously seen Ghost in the Shell and Akira and Cowboy Bebop, but other than that, I never really got into it. And now I'm trying to watch a lot of it now because it's incredible. I think that industry, those Japanese animators, they're really keeping the craft of hand animation alive. And frame by frame animation, and they're just incredible artists, incredible technicians. And yeah, I definitely want to get into a bit more anime. So like, if you do have recommendations of animes, let me know, especially ones for a newbie, right? Because I don't really know all the tropes. I don't really know, you know, all the history. So I would love to get into it. But I'm excited for that Terminator one, because Terminator is one of my favorite movies, and I'm excited to see something original done with it, because all the movies have just been pretty bad, bar the first two. So I'm excited to see what some people do with it. And it looks like it's a really creative show. Yeah, so animation's having a bit of a resurgence. Like X-Men 97, if you guys have seen that. If you haven't seen it, watch it. It's absolutely amazing. If you're a fan of the original 90s show, it's just pure nostalgia. And the animation is really, really slick. It's absolutely beautiful. I've actually been DMing one of the animators from the show, asking them questions, and they're not responding, and I just keep harassing them, saying please. Yeah, it's just fucking great work. And that opening scene, or the opening episode, some of the action scenes and the fight scenes are just, it's just mind blowing looking at it. Thinking like, that must have been a headache for whoever had to animate that. All right. think we're done. Okay, let me turn all the frames on. And let's watch this bad boy. Alright, let me center it up for you so you can get a good view of it. Okay. Here we go. That's kind of cool. Now again, I don't know, I'm looking at my screen here and I don't know what you're seeing. What I see is very laggy. Like it literally looks like it's just 3 frames going but like a really bad internet connection. So I don't know if this is translating to you on watching the stream, but this looks really cool from my end. I'm really happy with this. That was a solid hour's work I did there. I'm really happy with that. Alright. I'm not going to color it this evening because I'm not sure what the background color is going to be. You know what? I might just go back. I'm feeling this. I might go back now and just add some additional little bits of goo. See what we can do. Maybe inside the letters to give it a bit more of a texture, a bit more of a oomph, if you know what I mean. A bit of oomph. That's a technical term. Oomph. Yeah. I like this. Oh, it's a shame. I don't think it's coming across on screen. But, however. But then again, I don't even think... I'm not even 100% sure I am even speaking to anyone right now. Because I can't actually see if there's a number of people watching, and because I'm streaming through OBS software. So yeah, I'm just gonna, what I'm gonna do here, actually I'm gonna turn the, let me bring the size of the brush down. I'm just gonna add some details inside the letters. See if this works. I'm not going to do them all. Now this might just look shit, so bear with me. Just put some crud inside it. Alright. These can just, let's see, these can just disappear, right? They don't have to, let me see that. Yeah. You don't have to kind of worry as much about these little pieces inside. They can just slowly disappear. So it looks like they just bubbled up and went back into it. So let me just keep adding some of these. Little pieces of crud. So this is what I mean when I say that I always get the structure down first, and then I go back in and just start to add and subtract and add and subtract again until I'm happy with it. And again, I should point out that normally I'm working off sketches. I don't just jump straight into animating, but because of the nature of this, because it's just goo, I'm animating that you can't really go wrong. It's hard to mess it up. You're just deconstructing the letters. Hey Neil, how are you doing, buddy? Nice to see you, bud. If you don't follow Neil Vilpu, give him a follow. He's freaking incredible illustrator, and he's just joined Drip, and his work is insane. Those variant covers are awesome, man. I've got my eye on that teal. Yeah, so this is where it gets a little bit fun. Stress has come out of it now. You're too talented, buddy. Slow down. I'm talking about Neil. Guy's a monster illustrator. Now, I'm just going to change the direction. Again, so I'm not too precious about these little pieces of crud because they're inside the letters. You're not going to see them. They're going to go away very fast, so I don't really have to follow a pattern like. Go on, finish this. I think I showed it earlier, but I'll show you the animation I'm going to be working on tomorrow. And it's the foil pack of a packet of stickers being ripped open, and again it's kind of it's another promo image for this collection I want to do. This is actually a Drip House collection. I haven't mentioned that. This is my new Drip House collection. If you follow my drip, I have a drip called Neat Stuff, and Neat Stuff is just kind of what it is on the tin, what it says in the tin. It's just neat stuff. It's just a lot of different cool concepts and ideas that don't fit into any of my collections, so I put them into Neat Stuff. But this, what I'm working on, Deadbeats is going to be my second drip collection that will run parallel with Neat Stuff. But this will be trading card based, so everything's going to look like a trading card. And I'm a big fan of trading cards, so I'm excited to do something like this. I've been wanting to do it for a while. And as you can already guess, there'll all be a bunch of deadbeats. So I'm going to have a lot of fun drawing those characters, and hopefully people will dig them, people will want to collect them, because I'm going to do some really cool fun stuff. What am I doing here? I've got so many weird character ideas. And it's cool because it also lets me practice as an illustrator, because again, like I've said before, like characters aren't my strongest point. I haven't done them in a long time. So when you do a collection that's based around characters, it kind of forces you, to get good. Like, I'm terrible at learning new skills. I'm just really impatient. So I've been reading this book. Let me show you. It's called Creating Characters for the Entertainment Industry. That's pretty cool. It goes through a lot of character design, a lot of concepts, a lot of stuff. And if I was to do there's no way I could just sit down and do the exercises in the book in my sketch pad. I just don't have the patience. So what I like to do is give myself projects and say, okay, I'm going to create 30 trading cards that have 30 unique different characters, and that's how I learn. And that's how I get better at characters. I'm going to force myself to make them good if I know that I'm going to have to show them in public, and I know that I'm going to have to mint them and people are going to want to collect them. So they have to be good, and it forces me to actually sit down and get better. Otherwise, I would just procrastinate. I Okay, let's watch this, see what we're at. Oh, that kind of works. All right, yeah, those little bells and whistles are you're definitely adding to it. Okay. I'll start thinking about color soon as well, but that's for. So if you've been watching this from the start, I hope it's shown you that there's no real magic to this. It's just work. It's just laborious, repetitive work. But it's very rewarding at the same time. Like, again, there's no mystery to good art or good work. It's just practice, and anyone can do it. Sound like Bob Ross now, but I don't like the gatekeeper mentality in art, you know? Like, there's no talent. There's just learned skill. Practice. So I'm not even really paying attention to this. I am just throwing these little bits of doodads in, and yeah, it's because they're inside the letters. It kind of works if they're just randomly just bubbling up to the surface and disappearing. Although I should probably start just varying because I'm getting a bit repetitive with them. And what I'm doing, what I'm doing on the side here is I keep the frame before open, and I just turn the rest off because it'll just turn into a mess of lines. Okay. Okay. Okay, are we done? Are we done? Let's see. I think we might be. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we might be. Yeah, alright. Let me turn on the layers and let me resize the screen so you can see it clearly. And I really hope that this is streaming. Like, I really hope it's streaming smoothly and you can see it all, because just how many layers are we dealing with here? Let me see. Canvas information. There are 33. Of course there are. No Irish person can say that number correctly. There are 33 layers, and so it is smooth, but I don't know if the stream is kind of making it glitchy, but it's really smooth for me. So I hope that, and when I look at it on the stream here, it looks it looks like it's only 4 frames. But I will post this if in the comments section of the stream afterwards, so you can actually see it, the actual file. And I'm really happy with that. It's smooth, it works, so, and it's repetitive. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some color, and I will export it as a GIF. And this will be the header on my drip profile. my new drip collection. This will be the animated header, and yeah, just a little bit of extra little bit of bells and whistles on my profile. I like animated profiles and headers, and yeah, I'm really happy with that. I think it came out really well, and that was about 90 minutes worth of animation time. So I'm really happy with that. I'm going to end it there because it's after 1 a.m. here in Ireland and I need to go to bed. I need to get some sleep. But if you checked it out, I'm really, really happy with this. If you watch the stream, I appreciate you. Maybe jump into my DMs, leave me a message, tell me what I could do better. If you want to see more of these, if you want to see me explain more, if you want me to shut up more, play some music. But if this interests you, I'll do a whole lot more streams if people are actually interested in them. But other than that, I appreciate you. If you watched, thank you very much. And stay safe, be kind to yourself, pet some dogs. Have a good day, guys.